questions. Yeah, a group that I spoke to from Russia. And so I still have four more of their questions. We'll see how far we get. Okay. Tibetan Buddhism, and these people are not Tibetan Buddhists per se. Yeah. Tibetan Buddhism places the guru at the very heart of the practice. At the same time, there were several scandals with Buddhist teachers in the West. There are certain similar controversies in the East. What can honestly stand in for it when no guru is present? And what is the best benefit of having a teacher? So the questions, I'm not sure how they relate to that comment about the scandals. Yes, there were many scandals, and the scandals can make people lose faith in the Dharma, and especially when the scandals concern teachers. Yeah, so perhaps that's what the link is. And so then what His Holiness has advised in that thing is to keep a respectful distance. If you've lost faith in somebody, you keep a respectful distance, appreciate what they have taught you, and then you can look for other teachers. Okay, but now in terms of the actual questions they asked, what can stand in for when no guru is present? His Holiness always says, the Buddha is our guru, yeah? And so, if you live in a place where you don't have an opportunity to meet spiritual teachers, or maybe you haven't met one that you really click with yet, the Buddha is always our first, our object of refuge. Yeah, so don't forget that. And, you don't have to go guru shopping. Yeah, like, okay, let's see, I'm looking for a guru. When I was in Singapore, one lady, oh my goodness, the whole afternoon, she was saying, how can I meet a Vajrayana teacher who will lead me to enlightenment? Because she had heard all this stuff from someplace, and she was a beginner. Yeah, but she wants a Vajrayana teacher who can lead her to enlightenment. And I said, you need to start out with the beginning parts of the practice and establish a very very sound foundation. You don't need a Vajrayana guru at this time, But she was really fixed on that. There was nothing more I could really say. Okay. But, if you attend teachings, check out the teachers, check out their ethical conduct, check out, if they know the Dharma well, if they keep their precepts, if they're kind and compassionate people. And then, it's because it's the responsibility of the student to select who their teachers are. So you have, then it's our responsibility to check them out, and not just say, oh, somebody has their name with a whole long string of titles, and they sit on a very high throne with lots of brocade and many different hats, that therefore they must be a qualified teacher. No, you have to check out people's qualities. Okay, and then what is the best benefit of having a teacher? Well, as they say, if you need a teacher to learn how to read, and, reading is it's something we all learn, and we learn the alphabet, and we learn, arithmetic. We definitely need teachers for that. So, needless to say, if you're working with the mind and changing people's minds, so that they are no longer angry and they have patience and goodwill towards others, and to realize the nature of reality, just to even get the correct view of conventional things, we need a Dharma teacher. Yeah. Otherwise, if the path to awakening is we don't need a teacher, then what do? We'll invent our own path to awakening, And you take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of the other things. And Lama Yeshe says it's like making soup. You add carrots and potatoes and tomatoes, and you make soup. So you invent your own spiritual practice, which coincidentally feeds your ego very well and doesn't contradict your self-centeredness or your self-grasping at all. Yeah, so we invent a practice like that we diligently practice. Why? Because it makes us feel good, and it doesn't challenge anything about our views and our preferences. So we need a teacher who will teach us the path as it is, yeah? And that teacher won't always say what we want to hear, yeah? Like, I know one teacher, every time she saw this group of students, she said, memorize the food offering prayer. Yeah, I told them every single time I saw, this teacher, every single time, And somehow it just, they haven't done that, So every time when they see her now, then they kind of, go the opposite way, or they give her something to eat, so there's noodles oozing out of her mouth so she can't speak, and tell them to memorize the food offering prayer again. Yeah, I don't know, these teachers they don't do what the students like. Let's go on to the next question.